Global warming is caused from an excess of greenhouse gases due to human activity. UV light radiation emitted by the sun is received by the Earth through absorption. It is also partially reflected by the Earth out of our atmosphere, regulating the amount of radiation we receive and thus temperature conditions. This ensures we have a normal, consistent, and healthy living environment for our ecosystem. Greenhouse gases play a significant role in the well-being of our Earth. However, excessive amounts, particularly of CO2, can be harmful. These gases absorb solar radiation and thicken the atmosphere, trapping heat in the form of UV radiation as it reflects off the Earth. The constant additional heat radiation warms the Earth, gradually and significantly increasing temperatures over time. This entrapment of heat continues in an unbreakable cycle. Glaciers and ice sheets are excellent sunlight reflectors. However, increased temperatures are causing large volumes of the Earth's ice to melt rapidly. This not only endangers species, but limits the Earth's ability to naturally reduce the amount of radiation within its atmosphere.
Therefore, the amount of heat absorbed by the Earth continues to increase and the cycle continues. This process, in which greenhouse gases absorb and trap heat in the atmosphere, is known as the greenhouse effect. Humans have taken advantage of the greenhouse gases as resources for our own use and as a result have caused a dangerous surplus in our atmosphere. Commonly, these gases are used and released every day through transportation. They're also used in forest cleaning, cement production, the production, distribution, and expulsion of natural gas, fertilizers, large-scale industry production, and factory fabrication of materials, electrical system, and the release of fossil fuels, which come from burning coal, oils, and natural gases. The consequences of excessive volumes of these gases include receding sea and freshwater ice levels, shortening of the winter season, melting permafrost, changes in wildlife and plant species distribution, increased coastal erosion of some shorelines, and a reduction in snow cover.
This in turn may cause a multitude of problems, including an overwhelming influx of weather refugees resulting from unstable weather conditions, forcing people to abandon homes. It could also begin a severe shortage of clean drinking water and cause a deterioration of the traditions, culture, and lifestyles of those living in the north. The Arctic climate region largely influences the activities of those living in the area. Their industries and lifestyles, for the most part, revolve around the climate and resources made available by it. Receding ice lines and changes in wildlife and plant species specifically could potentially cause loss of jobs and industry, a lack of readily available food and resources, and thus the need to move elsewhere. We have a responsibility to ensure that nothing and no one, including our environment, is suffering. We must take care of our world and everything in it.
There are two Catholic social teachings that express our wrongdoings in regards to global warming and remind us why and how we should be preventing it. These are rights and responsibilities and care for God's creation. The social teaching Rights and Responsibilities teaches us that we have basic human rights to ensure us that we can have a full human life. We as humans need to protect these rights for not only ourselves, but other humans as well. We can all work together to help our environment to protect our earth for future generations. The care for God's creation explains to us that the earth is not ours, so we cannot do as we please, but instead we must care for it and respect it to show our thanks to God, because God is the creator of everything. He shaped the earth for us to take care and protect it. Centesimus Annus, or the 100th year encyclical, says that the Church recognizes that care for the environment is part of care for the common good. The environment is one of the common goods which are the shared responsibility of the human race.
We have to reject some of the easy assumptions of an earlier stage of industrialization, such as that the human race, because of God had given it dominion over the world, had an unlimited freedom to exploit the natural environment of its own purpose. Those who feel moved to a loving care for the internal balances of nature are responding to a deep religious instinct implanted within them by God. Their intuition tells them that the human race takes its place on this planet as a gift and privilege and needs to cultivate what the new catechism of the Catholic Church calls a religious respect for the integrity of creation. This encyclical clarifies that we are here as humans. We must respect our earth and be grateful to live on it.
We must also take care of God's creation to show our gratitude. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 7 also says, I brought you into a fertile land to eat its fruit and rich produce. But you came and defiled my land and made my inheritance detestable. In this passage, God's creation is not receiving the respect it deserves. We must learn to understand that this earth is not ours, and we must treat it with respect. If we do not learn to do so, we will soon destroy God's gift for us. So we must take immediate action to change our ways and stop global warming. The biggest contributing factor to global warming as a result of human activities is greenhouse gas emissions. One of the most immediate and efficient ways to prevent global warming is therefore by reducing these emissions. The first step to solving this problem is by educating people on the issue, as not everyone is aware of the severity of global warming. Implementing educational promotions in schools and adding a component of education on global warming to this curriculum would go a long way to help.
Green Team clubs should be a requirement in all schools as well. They educate children about global warming and the problems facing us today and serve as a supportive environment in which helpful ideas and solutions can be made. Getting schools to help the cause of global warming by participating in activities like reducing the building's carbon footprint, for example, is extremely helpful. More television, online, and print advertising is also needed to create excitement and motivation about making change happen. Once positive change is encouraged and people are inspired, more people will combine efforts to develop ideas and innovations for better solutions. Education and motivation only solves part of the problem. We need to take action and work hard at creating and ensuring long-term change.
Governments have the power to make it challenging and thus undesirable to waste the Earth's natural resources, and in particular greenhouse gases. Governments can ban the use of certain greenhouse gases, put a higher tax on them, or legally place limitations on the amount each household and facility can use or have. Doing this would make it much harder for people to waste these resources and use them carelessly, thus reducing the excess we have within our atmosphere. Other solutions for this problem can include the use of solar panels to not only absorb excess sun radiation, but act as a replacement for electrical systems, which often involve the waste of greenhouse gases. Planting trees is also an excellent way to prevent global warming, as large-scale deforestation has resulted in a release of extreme volumes of greenhouse gases and the deprivation of oxygen in our atmosphere. Recycling is always helpful as well. The proper disposal of greenhouse gases will result in a reduction in the amount put into our atmosphere. Electricity uses and expels unhealthy levels of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere as well, so conserving electricity is another major way to prevent global warming. By reducing the amount of waste we produce in these ways, we can solve many of the problems dealing with our changing environment and Earth, thus keeping our ecosystem healthy. These short-term solutions are quick and easy preventions of global warming, and if thoroughly continued with government support, have the power to produce effective long-term change on this Earth, providing a healthy, cared-for environment.